Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
Okay, what are you wishing for on your birthday?
Out of guardianship?
No matter how much she's propped up and dressed up, made to look happy, Wendy is not. She wants out of the guardianship. The one thing she wants for her birthday, which is today, is out of guardianship.
Out of guardianship?
Today, Wendy Williams turned 61, and I pray that this is the last birthday she has to spend in guardianship. Let's go to part 3. Now, in part 1 and 2, we explored the bombshell federal lawsuit filed by Wendy Williams' ex-husband, Kelvin Hunter, a case that names over 40 people and entities, including judges, lawyers, financial advisors, Wells Fargo, and her guardian, Sabrina Morrissey. The lawsuit alleges that Wendy was forced into a guardianship in 2022 before any public mention of dementia or aphasia. The lawsuit also mentioned that she was financially exploited, cut off from her family, and had her accounts frozen based on a questionable medical letter allegedly written by a doctor who was paid $60,000 out of Wendy's funds. And in a shocking twist, we also covered that the very financial advisor, Lori Schiller, is now no longer employed by Wells Fargo. We also revealed that Wendy's ex-manager, Bernie Young, and his associate allegedly used her American Express card for their own benefit, and how Wendy's son was cut off, evicted, and left without access despite being her legal power of attorney. Now, in part 3, we're going to dive into what happened after the guardianship was in full effect, including what the lawsuit claims about Will Selby, Sean Zanotti, Sadatu Salami, and Amanda Clears, and how each of their roles played a pivotal part in the next phase of Wendy's confinement. We are going to get into this story and so much more, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this story and so much more. Now let's get back into it. Now, when a person is under a guardianship, that guardian has some major duties. One, making sure that that person is protected from abuse, neglect, and exploitation. These are some of the images, videos, and interviews of Wendy months after the guardianship had taken place.
I want to a lot of girls at 57 don't care about excuse me, I'm gorgeous. Can I Thank you. By the way, this right here, this was on the Wendy Williams show. No longer many money. Okay, I'm done with this. Goodbye.
That's the old, that's...
No, I don't want to show him around. See, this is what people do. They want, because I know it's not just me and you talking about this. All right, I already told you, this is a very sexy place that I live in, okay? You had to have a lot of money to be able to do that. And that's all I'm going to talk about, okay? There's an upstairs, there's a downstairs, my cats are here, and that's it.
It seems as though the powers that be were attempting to push a narrative that protected the people in charge, but put Wendy at risk. Wendy's son, Kevin, had said that when he was in Florida, a doctor told him that his mother had alcohol-related dementia.
It was starting to affect her headspace and her brain. So I think they said it was alcohol-induced dementia. Yeah.
Before the guardianship, little Kev found this all out. He put his mother on a strict vegan diet. There was no alcohol allowed, and Wendy was getting better.
And I like the company I keep there, and I do what I can. I do what I can.
I see you looking real healthy now.
Please, Kevin, please.
Yeah, but you also like how it's really private, because I know you like gyms if they're private, of course.
Yeah, I like it, and I also like food, which is why I've got to keep on my routines with going to the gym, you know?
Yeah, and like, how have you been eating? Like, because everyone that looks at you, you have beautiful skin, like, people want to know what's the secret.
Thank you. I'm not giving you points for saying that to me. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Wendy's attorney, LaShawn Thomas, actually captured this video, and with it, she said, "I weighed this decision for a very long time. I've kept silent because I have been threatened with physical and financial harm, but I just couldn't keep silent any longer. While Wendy was in Miami with her son, I would often witness candid moments of their mother and son dynamic. I could tell that he loves his mother so much, and as you can see, the feeling was mutual. You can clearly see the difference between Wendy's well-being during her time here in Florida with her son caring for her and her lack thereof in New York under this guardianship. These Wendy's are not the same. How did her health deteriorate so quickly? And why isn't her only child allowed to be by her side? She wasn't like this when he cared for her. Ask the hard questions." I took this video literally 2 weeks before Wendy was court ordered to return to New York to respond to a guardianship petition filed by her bank. Let that sink in. My mother passed away on October 1st, 2022 from complications related to her ALS diagnosis, and I feel so blessed and grateful that I was able to spend every second that I could with her before she left this earth. If Wendy's diagnosis is true, now more than ever, her son should be allowed the same grace. He deserves it, and most importantly, Wendy deserves it. Hashtag Wendy Williams. So it's as if the blueprint was already given. Hey, alcohol makes this dementia kick in. Wendy was left to her lonesome in New York, getting drunk, because no one was watching her as a guardian should. Paparazzi finds Wendy all the time in the most awkward situations, getting liquor from someone like her cab driver. This is protection, not exploitation, right? This is how you keep her protected from her son, allowing her to roam the streets of New York alone, shut off from her son, her attorney, and her money.
Go back inside. Go back inside. We already did that. Where are we going? What is it for? TMZ.
Take one. Showtime. Can I at least see the shot first, please? I just want to make sure I look like money. I look like something? Okay. Looking good.
Upon information and belief, in or around September 2022, Sabrina Morrissey directly retained and or approved the retention of William Selby to serve as Miss Hunter's manager, despite William Selby having limited to no management experience. On or about January 10th, 2010, William Selby entered into a mortgage agreement with Wells Fargo for property that William Selby purchased in New Jersey. On or about September 12, 2022, which is around the same time that Sabrina Morrissey retained William Selby to be Miss Hunter's manager, Wells Fargo issued a discharge of William Selby's mortgage, indicating that the debt had been paid in full. True and correct copies of the applicable County of Essex public records are attached here too as Exhibit R.
How did you meet Wendy?
It's funny you ask that question because I've met Wendy in multiple different facets. You know, I've met her in the New York scene, us being out, partying. I was commissioned to do jewelry for her. And then we just developed a relationship and a bond from there. It went from friendship to management, which was after her divorce with her ex-husband.
So right now you're looking at a document, which is a mortgage agreement, specifically a security instrument for a loan taken out by William Selby, dated August 3rd, 2009, with Wells Fargo Bank as the lender. Now, as you all know, there's different mortgage loan types. This was a 30-year mortgage that was to be paid off by 2039 if the payments were made on time. September 6, 2022, Wells Fargo discharged William Selby's mortgage.
Please? I just want to make sure I look like money. I look like something? Okay. Looking good.
Now, all of this is public record. It can easily be found, but what this lawsuit is stating is that the same month that William Selby was signed on to be Wendy Williams' handler, his Wells Fargo mortgage magically disappeared. Upon information and belief, Wells Fargo's discharge of William Selby's mortgage, was in exchange for William Selby being Miss Hunter's handler. William Selby is a jeweler and a purported manager of Miss Hunter. William Selby is being sued for financial exploitation and unauthorized use of Miss Hunter's name and story for aiding in and profiting from Miss Hunter's unlawful confinement. Upon information and belief, William Selby is a U.S. citizen in New Jersey, and William Selby rendered management services to Miss Hunter within the state of New York. William Selby was and is at all relevant times personally and directly involved in decisions to establish and maintain the guardianship over Miss Hunter.
Why do you have your money just laid out? There's a whole wad of cash in your jewelry box. Huh? Why do you got all this money just in the house?
Boss, you brought it to me.
Although Wendy wasn't really herself at that time, she still checked Will Selby and let him know, boss, aka manager, this money came from you, and the only person that would okay it coming from you would have to be the guardian. She's over everything, right? An Instagram to promote the Wendy Experience podcast was launched in July 2022.
I feel like the podcast is the heartbeat of everything that I'm trying to do for Wendy.
Fans were excited as many had missed Wendy and her iconic Hot Topic segment since her departure from daytime TV.
Wendy and myself, we're ready to go, but we're waiting for the deal to come. You know, I just want to make sure I get the right deal for her.
The podcast was seen as a way for her supporters to stay connected and hear directly from her once again. However, as 2022 unfolded, with ongoing rumors about Wendy's health, concerning public appearances, and growing concerns that she was being paraded around or possibly exploited, it became clear that the podcast might not be the right move.
Do you think she's ready to do a podcast? I mean, you said that she was going through a hard time.
Well, in regards to her being ready, let me ask you, you was with her for 2-3 days. Do you think Wendy's ready to do a podcast? So why do you have doubt? Because you just shook your head 10 times, but no words came out.
It seems like Wendy really struggles with expressing herself. Are you concerned about that?
She does this in her sleep. So that's why I don't understand when people have doubt. That's why I asked you the question. I don't understand where the doubt comes from when you have someone who has done this for 20 years straight. How can she not be ready?
The project was reportedly spearheaded by Will Selby, but it ultimately never came to life. The last time Wendy publicly mentioned the podcast was in November 2022 during a WBLS event.
When I finally stopped doing the Wendy Williams show, I said, wow, I could do anything I want or nothing at all. So podcast is one of those things.
It seemed obvious to everyone but the people that stood a chance to make money off of Wendy that a podcast just wasn't for her at this time. Now enters Miss Shawn Zanotti. Now, Shawn Zanotti is a publicist who participated in the production of a Lifetime documentary regarding Miss Hunter's guardianship. Upon information and belief, Shawn Zanotti is a U.S. citizen residing in California and is being sued for the exploitation of Miss Hunter's person, the use of Miss Hunter's name and story, and for aiding in and profiting from Miss Hunter's unlawful confinement. Shawn Zanotti was and is at all relevant times personally and directly involved in the decision to establish and maintain the guardianship over Miss Hunter.
So how did you guys get connected? How did that happen? Her attorney at the time reached out so I can start doing the crisis and PR management about the Wells Fargo situation, and then we just continued on from that point.
Shawn Zanotti initially connected with Wendy's attorney, LaShawn Thomas, with the intention of helping raise awareness about the mistreatment Wendy was facing, particularly regarding Wells Fargo, the guardianship, and related issues. Like many others who appeared to support the cause, things shifted once money started exchanging hands from those in power. Suddenly, narratives changed, and the very people who were supposed to be advocating for Wendy seemed to start working against her, contributing to portrayals that painted her in the worst possible light.
So let me ask you this, how, because I know you're really good friends with Shawn now and whatnot. I'm just trying to understand, what, you pay her and she's your friend?
I pay her.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, she's more than PR.
That's interesting.
She understands finance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Adding insult to injury, defendants used Ms. Hunter's own funds to retain management and public relations agents Will Selby and Sean Zanotti, who disseminated the narrative that Ms. Hunter was incapacitated and thriving under court supervision. These efforts were not for Ms. Hunter's benefit, but were calculated to mislead the public, insulate the guardianship from criticism, and suppress the truth of Ms. Hunter's unlawful confinement and exploitation.
You don't think there's anything going on with Wendy's health that is alarming?
No. I mean, Wendy is Wendy.
Rumor and innuendo about, is Wendy an alcoholic? If the public is all scared for her.
I don't think the public is scared for her right now. The headlines as we speak right now, if you were to look, they're talking about her being healthy, about her being happy, about her being vibrant, about her wanting to be back into work. Yeah.
And now we're forgetting words and where we are.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean. Sometimes she may forget a word or something along those lines.
Today, she called this place Miami.
Yeah. But I feel that she's okay. And from the time I started working with her until now, she's much better. She's bouncing back. And I think that's important to say. She's on the bounce back right now. Yeah.
Upon information and belief, Sabrina Morrissey also directly retained and or approved the retention of Sean Zanotti to serve as Ms. Hunter's publicist, despite Judge Lisa Sokoloff barring Ms. Hunter from engaging with the press. Upon information and belief, Sabrina Morrissey retained Sean Zanotti to be Ms. Hunter's handler, including to monitor her interactions with the press, restrict her ability to communicate publicly about her guardianship, and shape a public narrative designed to conceal ongoing financial and civil rights violations. Upon information and belief, Sean Zanotti spearheaded the production of the Lifetime docuseries based upon Ms. Hunter's guardianship, and William Selby and Sabrina Morrissey oversaw all activities related to the docuseries. Despite lacking the authority to do so, William Selby and Sean Zanotti engaged Ms. Hunter to appear at the Atlanta Women's Expo on or about May 20th, 2023. William Selby and Sean Zanotti also retained a portion of the payment that was received in relation to the commercial contract, which Ms. Hunter never performed. Upon information and belief, Sabrina Morrissey allowed William Selby and Sean Zanotti to continue as Ms. Hunter's manager and publicist, even after William Selby and Sean Zanotti entered into a commercial contract on Ms. Hunter's behalf without the authority to do so. During Ms. Hunter's guardianship in New York, William Selby and Sean Zanotti engaged in financial exploitation and public manipulation in New Jersey and or New York in the context of Ms. Hunter's public image management and financial dealings by fraudulently misrepresenting Ms. Hunter's public image to conceal the true extent of Ms. Hunter's condition and autonomy. William Selby assumed access to Ms. Hunter's finances and image while facilitating financial arrangements to benefit himself, including the suspicious discharge of a Wells Fargo mortgage at a time when Ms. Hunter was legally restrained, suggesting a financial exchange as part of a broader racketeering scheme. To gain personal and professional exposure and financial gain for her publicity services, Sean Zanotti facilitated the production of commercial media related to Ms. Hunter without meaningful consent and in coordination with other members of the enterprise to further the enterprise's goal of concealment, financial control, and reputational profiteering. Now let's speak about Sadatu Salami, who was a New York-based attorney who was brought into Wendy Williams' guardianship case by Wendy's originally retained legal team, the Miami Entertainment Law Group. Now this occurred after Judge Lisa Sokoloff barred Wendy's chosen counsel from participating in the guardianship proceedings in an apparent attempt to ensure Wendy still had representation. The Miami Entertainment Law Group brought in Sadatu to assist. However, instead of acting as a true advocate for Wendy, Sadatu Salami is accused of aligning herself with the very parties who were working against Wendy's interests. According to the lawsuit, Sadatu failed Wendy in several key ways. She didn't challenge the court's outreach or jurisdiction, even though Wendy was never found legally incapacitated through a proper hearing, known as a Lincoln hearing. She didn't demand an independent medical evaluation, despite conflicting opinions about Wendy's mental competency, including a 2025 evaluation stating Wendy was alert and competent, and she didn't fight to reinstate Wendy's original attorneys or honor Wendy's legally executed advance directives like her power of attorney. Instead of protecting Wendy's autonomy, Sadatu allegedly became another cog in a larger system of control. Her silence and inaction helped maintain a guardianship that this lawsuit describes as abusive, exploitative, and unconstitutional. According to the court filing, Sadatu was personally and directly involved in decisions to establish and maintain the guardianship over Ms. Hunter. In essence, Sadatu was brought in to help, but ultimately she became part of the machinery that failed Wendy. It appears to me that the powers that be strategically hired a number of melanated individuals to serve as handlers and managers for Wendy, likely to create the appearance that her affairs were being managed by people who looked just like her. This move may have been intended to deflect criticism and avoid the optics of non-melanated individuals swooping in to take control of her life and finances, but to many observers, it seemed more like a calculated effort to mask what was really going on behind the scenes. Now that we've cleared up the fact that all skin folk ain't necessarily kinfolk, let's mosey our way on over to the coterie. Now we have Amanda Clears, who was employed as Ms. Hunter's care specialist at Coterie and was entrusted with direct responsibility for the care, supervision, and well-being of Ms. Hunter. Upon information and belief, Amanda Clears is a U.S. citizen residing in New York and is being sued in her individual and official capacity for violating her legal, fiduciary, and ethical duties as a care specialist. Her conduct, as alleged herein, includes the unlawful disclosure of confidential health and location information, unauthorized photographing of Ms. Hunter in various stages of undress, and participation in a broader scheme of exploitation, all of which directly harm Ms. Hunter's safety, privacy, and emotional well-being. Now, the coterie is described as a high-end wellness and assisted living residence marketed as a place for those who need elevated care and support in a discreet upscale setting. However, Wendy Williams says this is a luxury prison. Now, when Wendy was first brought to the coterie, she was placed on the 5th floor. She had access to the entire building. She can go to the rooftop. Wendy went to the rooftop on her 60th birthday. She had some drinks, and because of that, they then placed her on the memory care unit on the 3rd floor. She can only access her room and the hallways. She cannot leave that floor without permission. During Ms. Hunter's unlawful confinement, Amanda Clears participated in wire and or mail fraud at Coterie in New York by taking inappropriate and non-consensual photographs of Ms. Hunter in a state of undress, by disclosing Ms. Hunter's location to third parties, by transmitting unlawful images for profit to third-party media outlets to publicly degrade and silence Ms. Hunter through fear, isolation, and shame, thereby advancing the goals of the enterprise. According to this lawsuit, Amanda Clears, who worked for the coterie, exploited Ms. Hunter by making unauthorized disclosures of Ms. Hunter's protected health information and location to third parties, including media outlets. Now, here's the complaint filed against the assisted living facility, the Coterie. This complaint arises from the egregious and unlawful invasion of privacy, exploitation, and gross negligence committed against Wendy Williams during her residency at the Coterie Hudson Yards assisted living facility. Upon her admission to the facility, Ms. Williams was assigned a care specialist, Amanda Clears, who, in violation of her professional and ethical obligations, engaged in a pattern of exploitive behavior. Ms. Clears allegedly disclosed confidential information regarding Ms. Williams' location and condition within the facility to members of the media, including identifying the specific room where Ms. Williams resided. Ms. Clears further participated in the unauthorized and unlawful photographing of Ms. Williams within the privacy of her room, including during moments when Ms. Williams was allegedly in a state of undress. These images were reportedly sold to media outlets for personal profit. The misconduct was not isolated. It is alleged that Ms. Clears conspired with a facility maintenance worker known as Aaron to facilitate these invasions of privacy and further exploit Ms. Williams' vulnerable condition. Both employees also reportedly engaged in an inappropriate relationship and were involved in the theft of personal belongings from other affluent residents of the facility. Despite prior notice and complaints, executive management at Coterie Hudson Yards failed to take timely corrective action. It is alleged alleged that management had knowledge of Ms. Clears' misconduct, yet deliberately ignored these red flags, permitting the continuation of abuse and the monetization of Ms. Williams' compromised health and personal dignity. This complaint seeks to hold all responsible parties accountable for the violation of Ms. Williams' privacy, the intentional infliction of emotional distress, breach of fiduciary duty, gross negligence, and other applicable statutory and common law crimes. The conduct described herein represents a disturbing breach of trust and human decency, demanding swift legal remedy and public accountability. This complaint was filed by none other than attorney LaShawn Thomas. So just when they thought that they were kicking her out of Wendy's life and Wendy would not get any help, they were sadly mistaken. According to this lawsuit, because of Amanda Clears, who worked at the Coterie, allegedly selling information to the media outlets, they were able to set up shop across the street, directly point their camera to Wendy's window, allowing her zero privacy in a place where she's supposed to be protected because she's under this guardianship that's supposed to protect her. With the paparazzi being given Wendy's exact location, and with thorough investigation into this case and into others, Amanda Clears was let go from the Coterie. Now that the dynamic duo of Will Selby and Sean Zanotti have been removed from their roles in parading Wendy around, attempting to paint a picture that everything is well in Guardianville, there's a new duo obviously approved by the Guardian because Wendy can't even see her dad without permission. Mel Maxey, who Wendy has obviously introduced us to before.
There he is.
Joe, what up, Joe?
What's up, my brother? How you doing?
I'm good. We go back to Lexington Ave days.
That's right. It's safe to say Wendy ain't hiding nowhere. She got a house full of people, huh?
Then we have More Media International CEO, who has been seen in the past several weeks taking pictures and videos with Wendy. They actually went to church 4th of July weekend. Wendy had on the same dress that she wore last night for her birthday dinner.
Okay, what are you wishing for on your birthday?
Out of guardianship?
This woman is being treated like a caged zoo animal.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? Welcome to Speak Your Fit. What's your name and where you from?
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm Wendy Williams, the one and only.
Hello.
I'm from here, right here in New York City.
Big Apple. We got Miss Wendy Williams here. Speak Your Fit to me. Describe your fit. You look wonderful today, Miss Wendy Williams.
Excuse me, everything designed by Mel Maxey.
Ooh,
Every
hello.
last drop of it,
Nice.
except for my fabulous sneakers are mine, all mine.
Ooh, hello.
And my fabulous handbag.
Nice.
Beautiful and gorgeous.
That part.
But this is all designed by me, and Mel Maxey even did this for me.
Nice.
It's all done.
That part. Hello.
Yes.
I got a few questions before you leave. I know
Okay.
you have a busy day. So what will older Wendy tell younger Wendy? Talk about it.
Well, stay true to what you wear.
That part.
I love to eat food.
Hello.
And after a lot of food, it's time to go to the gym.
Nice.
I go to the gym 3 times a week, no lie.
What's your favorite restaurant? You got any favorite restaurants you like eating at today?
Right now, I want to go to a soul food restaurant.
That part. Hello.
Well, look, this is me, right? I also like lox, bagels, and cream cheese.
Shout out to them.
I had that yesterday.
Okay, cool.
But today, it's all about my friend Mel.
Right.
So where he wants to go is where we go. And I know exactly where it's going to be.
What's your favorite movie? You can name one or multiple. Any of them.
Excuse me, I don't do movies unless I'm with a date.
That
And
part,
even
hello.
then, I don't even focus on the movie. I focus on a little canoodling.
Nice. Hello. Where can they
When I
find-
find the right man, that is.
Where can they find you on social media?
A social what? A social who?
Thank you, Miss Wendy Williams.
Thank you.
And brother, what's your Instagram?
man,
And what's your name and where you from?
I'm Mel Maxey from Harlem.
Big
My joint
Harlem.
is Mel Maxey _01.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
You already know.
Have a good one.
I am very hopeful that Wendy one day gets the right people in her circle, because right now it's hard to know who to trust. These two have made it possible, exposing so much that has been going on with Wendy in the past 3 years. It's definitely time we see a change and get her out of this guardianship, because that's what she wants.
Okay, what are you wishing for on your birthday?
Out of guardianship?
what I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything going on in the world of Wendy? I thought this would be a 3-part docuseries, but unfortunately, the story's not over. We're going to continue to report on it. So leave a comment, and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Happy birthday again, Wendy. Talk to you guys later. Bye. As always, thanks for watching. But before you go, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of my new episodes.